You're good to go.
With that said, it's 7 o'clock, so I'm gonna motion to open the meeting.
I'll make a motion to open. the meeting.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay. It's open. All right, so with that said. Our first case. Will be Encore Thrift Shop. A sign issue. Oh my God, we haven't had one of these in so long. I can't even remember. Awesome. Go ahead.
Okay, what we're asking for is, this is our logo, and this has been on our business card for years and years, as long as we've been open. We used to be on Berkeley Drive. And what we're asking for is to have this cleft sign, which is part of our logo, to be 18 inches instead of 12 inches. These letters would be 12 inches on the sign. So we're asking for a variance of 18 inches for that particular portion of the sign. For the letter.
The rest of the sign is,
The 12 inches.
the rest of the sign is okay, just to
The
get.
rest of the sign would just be that one little, I consider it a graphic, but I guess it's because it's part of the sign, it's still included under the 12 inches, but. Because one of the reasons we're asking for that is that Encore Shop gives all our money back to musical organizations in the community. We're all volunteer run and all our profits go back to music. So the music sign is very important to Encore.
Is there a sign there right now?
No, we've just moved into that sign. We used to be on Berkeley Drive, 119 Berkeley Drive. And we just moved into that area beginning of October. And so there's no sign there now.
Okay.
But we're looking to put a sign perpendicular. The owner of the building does not, when at the last meeting, we talked about putting a sign on the building showing, because we're around the back part. The owner does not want a sign on his building. He said if you wanted to put a post with a sign there, but he does not want something attached his building in the front. He doesn't care about the back, and he has agreed that a perpendicular sign that would come off the side of the building, so when people came around the corner of the Fred Astaire building, they would see Encore Shop.
Did we need a variance for picking perpendicular on the building?
If it's projecting, that's the same as perpendicular.
I think it might.
Yes.
I think it might need a variance on the, and that might be considered a projecting sign. It's been a long time since I've been through the entire sign code, if I remember correctly.
I don't know.
That's why I was trying to clarify it with you. If you're literally looking for something, if this is the sign of the building and the sign.
Right, we
stick
would-
out, that would need a variance.
Okay. So what?
Yeah,
what's that
so,
mean?
so you need two variances. You need the variance for the 18-inch.
Okay, and then we need another variance.
Because the original plans that you submitted showed it on the building. They showed it flush on the building.
Right.
Right.
And then when we were talking with the other board the last week, they had the planning board, they had suggested in checking with the owner. The owner has no problem with it being projected, but so I
Right.
just need to know what to
The
do.
owner has a problem with it being against the wall.
No, he had a problem with it being
No,
a sign on the building, on the front of his building,
got it.
pointing with an arrow pointing back. That's why we've also had asked for a sign to be on the fence. So when people come around the corner.
People aren't gonna have trouble
Right.
finding you.
Yeah, so that way if they
Without
came
signage.
around the building, they could see the Encore sign that would be on the fence.
Having it projected for the building makes a lot of sense because otherwise you're not gonna see it.
Right?
Right.
So
Right.
they'll drive along and they go, oh, there's nothing
Yeah.
down there, and they'll just
Right.
turn around and go.
Right.
So
Right.
having it,
And it's not really on any thoroughfare. It's kind of like, it's in a parking lot. It's not like on a main thoroughfare. It's not on Mill Street. It's around the back of the
Right.
building.
so the question is, we have to postpone this till next month, or can we add it to the,
You could add it
Yeah, you could add it
okay,
if,
if you were so inclined.
you know, on the record, the applicant ought to indicate that Encore would like to modify its
okay,
pending application. to
Perfect.
include a variance for a projecting sign, but
okay.
So the only thing that you're asking for relief is 6 inches on the clock.
On the cloud.
And the projections. And the
And-
project-
And the project, yeah,
Okay, so we don't have to,
don't have to come back.
hopefully. Any questions or concerns for anybody in the audience? Okay, motion, close the public hearing on this, and
We actually open the public hearing? I guess we did, okay.
yeah, we did. Motion, close.
So
Do you need a motion to
Here.
close it, or you just
Okay.
close it?
Okay. All right, so discussion,
I have no issue with it projecting perpendicular to the building facade nor the enlarged plot.
okay,
6 inches really.
okay,
Great,
I agree. All right, so we need a motion to.
that is the motion.
Just for the sake of the record, I'll talk you quickly through the criteria that the board's required to
Yeah.
document and took into consideration. Item 1, will there be an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to the property?
No,
Item 2, can the applicant achieve the benefit that they're looking for by some other method that would be feasible other than an area variance?
I'd say yes.
For both variances?
What would be the other method suggested as an alternative?
They can change the location of the sign, position it somewhere else.
The landlord won't let him put it flush with the building.
No, we
So-
can put it flush the building. He does not, we had asked if we could put instead of the fence sign.
Right.
Put a sign on his building and he said no, but he has no objection to a projected sign.
Right.
Back-
I understand,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
for the record,
I'm
we have
sorry.
to say what we've considered,
Okay,
right? So there are other solutions. They may
Oh.
not be doable or they may not be functional, but there
understand.
may be other solutions. And one of the maybe other solutions is you could change the location of the sign.
And
right.
just so I understand it, this proposed projecting side, would that be on the rear of the building?
Side.
It's the side of the building. Okay, this is a credit store
Yeah.
building.
Between that and the
If
street.
you go down this,
Okay.
it is, this part
So
is
it's
the
at
end
the
of this
turn.
building.
You would see it, okay.
Yeah.
So
Thank
it's
you.
parallel to the stream.
Yes,
Building parallel to the street.
right.
Thank you. Item number 3 is the area variance request substantial.
No,
Item 4 would granting the variance have an adverse effect on physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood?
No,
no,
And the last item was the alleged difficulty self-created.
yes.
yes.
Of course, no way to avoid that.
And just to be sure, it's not lit.
We're not open, we're only open during the daytime, so it's just.
The first item for the board to address is seeker on the draft resolution I passed out. I have identified the application based on the seeker regulations as being a type 2 seeker action, which requires no further environmental review unless someone on the board feels otherwise. That would conclude the seeker
Yes.
process. So somebody should just make a motion to adopt that seeker resolution as proposed.
I'll make a motion to adopt the secret resolution as proposed.
Okay, all in favor? Yeah, that's fine. The second resolution identifies the applicant, the property, and the request for a logo that would measure 18 inches high. On my copy, I've handwritten in here that applicant's also requesting a second variance to permit for a projecting sign. The resolution goes on to note that a notice for the public hearing was published, that the public hearing has been conducted. The matters type 2, as I mentioned above. The Village of Fayetteville Planning Board was in favor of applicant's proposal. Page 2 of the resolution just identifies the fact that the board did consider the 5 criteria it's required to under state law. And then on the last page, there's text indicating that the zoning board of appeals either is going to approve or not approve the requested variance applications for an 18-inch high logo and a second variance for a projecting sign, which is otherwise not permitted under the code. So,
Motion to accept the resolution.
all
You
in
can make
favor?
the motion, yeah, for the 10 seconds, okay.
Aye. Unanimous.
We're good.
We're good.
You're all set.
On set. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Sometimes the
Barbara, I'll
process
be in
is a
touch.
little,
December 2nd will be the planning board meeting to finalize this.
So we don't do anything until that
December
meeting.
after that. yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
you're welcome. Sometimes the process is a little confusing, especially when you get those no's and you're like, what, wait a minute.
I know. Well, what I have to say, it was a little confusing reading through those the
Yeah.
codes and all that
For the
stuff.
record, I'll note that, the resolution that the board adopted is subject to final planning board approval
Yeah.
to sign application.
So the next meeting is December, 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So
December 2nd. I'll get your thank you for that.
you'll be there. Right? Thank you all very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it and.
All right, so the next item of business is Linda Lee. Motion to open
I'll get in touch with
the
you.
meeting.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Second, all those in favor of opening the meeting? Aye. Aye.
And
All
I'll
right.
back it for you for this next meeting while you're here. I'll be pretty robust.
All right.
Good
now you got
evening.
the floor.
Members of the board, my name is Daniel Manning. I'm an architect and I've been retained by the owner, Lisa Lee, who recently purchased 101 Pratt's Lane. We're here for a variance because in this existing residence, there's a portion of the building that is an existing hair salon that she owns and runs. And last week she bought the entire property. She rented from David Lawler. She bought the entire property and David Lawler has agreed to deed her and sell her a portion of his land that was directly behind her property. So it does create an odd shape, but the existing home is a non-conforming. The existing property is a non-conforming lot. Couldn't get built that way today. So what we had proposed to do is to not change the footprint. But there's an existing covered porch on the back that's 27.4 by 12 that we would enclose that and add that to the living space. The property is probably, the residence is probably 1,200 square feet. It's a story and a half. And that little piece that we would add on to the back, which is already there in footprint, but not there as livable space. It's just covered porch space. Would get us up to about 1,500. She plans on living there with herself and her son and still continuing to run the hair salon. So I brought drawings for everybody, but I don't think it'll fit on this table. You might have, if you share, it might be a little more.
I think we have a printout in here,
Easy.
or we have an electronic version of
Nice
it.
to have the
someplace.
more.
Julie, you want to share with Larry?
These three of us.
And I'll let you have your drawings.
The only, I have a question. on
Yeah.
It sounds a little confusing. Is the whole thing, including the salon, 1,200 square feet?
No, the
So-
salon's like another 600 square feet.
Okay, so we're talking about
So I think
space
it's like,
beyond,
it's like this side. So
This
like, you're
side?
looking at the house.
Is
it's
this
like
If you look at the house, you're
The
looking
salon is
west
just
from Pratt's. The salon is south and the house is to the north of the garage.
Okay, by the map, yeah. Dan,
Yes,
is it at the intersection of West Elm and Pratt?
Correct.
It's not
That's
this
it.
salon,
but yeah, no, it's right there.
it's a different salon.
Yeah. So if you're looking at the front of the house, you're looking due west. To the south is the salon, which is about 600 square feet. And to the right is the residence, which is a story and a half. And about, yeah, now we only drew the residence. We didn't draw the salon. She just wanted to touch it. It's on eight floor.
This makes sense.
Yeah.
But you can see this first. There's the garage and the
Right.
salon is here.
Okay. Got it.
I think, no, I think the building got sold. I don't know, it's been for sale.
Is the garage attached to the
My
salon?
mother-in-law.
Yeah, this is the demising wall.
Very involved with them. Yeah.
Of course, she's coming.
So this
If
concrete,
you want to look at the elevation.
that concrete driveway does not go to a,
To the garage.
oh, it does go to the garage.
Yes, it goes right to the garage.
Salon's over there,
This is slab on grade.
okay.
So this must have been a garage at one point.
I was gonna say, there was a garage there.
Okay.
It's the second.
This line doesn't have a basement. It's gotta be slab on grade.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think something happened. Something at the garage.
Turning it
Yeah.
into the salon, sure.
Yeah. Mike. Wasn't there a change a couple of years ago
Okay.
regarding this building?
Three.
The garage? What?
It's been a long time that it's been as it's been.
Yeah, I think maybe they redid something in the last couple of years, maybe siding, I don't know, I just remember some work being done down there. It's okay.
I was happy
So this.
So do you want to just go through what you're adding on?
Sure,
Yes.
sure. So if you look at the original. You have it, you have my.
You sent us the.
That far back.
You can have this back, I don't need that.
This one. So I'll go around the rooms.
Which is yours?
This way's east,
Okay,
that's the front. If you go to the, if you go to the elevation,
no, it's basically site plan.
that's the addition. This is looking from north to south. This is looking from east to west.
Okay.
And there's the garage.
Okay,
So if you, in the back, this is a covered porch currently. And the deck, and what we're gonna do, is put a real foundation underneath it and extend the roof up so that this is vaulted up to the second floor master bedroom.
okay,
But the footprint stays exactly, this footprint is 12 by 27, that does not change. So there's no further encroachment on this property line here, that is existing.
okay,
But now he has 83 feet in back. She has 83 feet.
goes that far then?
It goes across the creek.
Oh, I was gonna say.
So that eliminates the need for a rear yard variance.
Right, no, your rear yard setback, you've got 83 feet, so that.
From the furthest point of the home, yes.
Which includes.
But
the
it's
creek?
still not, it's still not in compliance there.
Right, we got that.
Is that transaction happened yet, this closing or the?
They, I received a letter from Dave Lawler, who's the Cedar Bay, and I sent it to Karen and I asked if, would this be sufficient just to get us through the meeting? Because they haven't, since the last planning board meeting, Joanne Gagliano was the one who said, why don't you go talk to the owner, see if you can get this property in the back? Because there was it was pretty tight, that porch is pretty tight to the rear property line. And she thought that you guys wouldn't want to set precedence by having such a small rear yard setback. She went and I talked to Dave. He said, yeah, I can't use that property for anything. I'd be glad to sell it to her. So it's a token sale. But they are in the process of hiring an attorney, doing up a bill of sale.
So the only real issue that right now is this one little piece here, which is already non-conforming, this little
It's-
piece and the side
The
setback.
side here, yeah, it's 4.9
Right, instead of 10.
instead of 10.
Okay, so the only real issue we have, because the rear setback really isn't gonna matter if that piece of property gets closed on, it's not gonna matter.
It'd be closed on obviously before we, I want it to be closed on before we go back to the planning board.
So the dimension on one side is 5'3 3/4" to the side here.
Because the house isn't
Right.
quite plumb to the northern property line.
And the,
And
so
what is?
the
what
other
is
one's
this-
4'9". And
This
Yeah, the
is-
one right here is 4'9", the one there is 5'3".
Right, but I'm asking in terms of,
That's probably less than 10 feet too. If you
right,
measure that, but the end of the
It's right
property
there.
right there. It's just an odd shaped property, so it creates some.
On the right side, if you go square across, you'll have more than that. It's just the way everything comes.
Right, if,
You're not gonna measure on an angle.
Right,
right, so if you would measure this way, it doesn't really matter, because you've got
Right,
it's,
enough space,
it's more than 10 on that side.
right,
because it would be perpendicular.
exactly.
So the only thing is, this dimension you're saying is 4,
It's
whatever,
5'3"
It
and
is
3/4.
over here.
Yeah. Just
So you've
because
increased the
it's skewed
dimension over what's actually in the.
by 4 and, yeah, 4 inches.
Yeah, so. It was not,
Well, actually, more.
So
Front of the
this
house
was
is
what
four-
there,
4'2".
covered porch.
well, yeah, but the back
This
corner is 4'9".
4'9".
So this back corner is
Right.
4'9" and back
Corner,
corner is
this,
5'3".
this north side is not
Yeah.
skewed from this.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
4'2",
the width, yeah.
4'9", by the time you get to there, it's
Side,
5'3".
It's good. It's
So
wide.
all this property
Yeah,
got
the
added,
house.
so if you measure perpendicular, it's 83 feet. If you measure perpendicular this way, there's more than 10 feet, but on this side, there's none.
And this side doesn't really matter.
So-
because It's not in property.
So the owner had retained me to hire the surveyor, and Lear Surveys, the one that did this, is preparing a subdivision map as we speak, but it's gonna take 3 weeks. So I'm gonna get the application and the payment into Karen tomorrow. The owner signing it with Dave Lawler, the owner of the piece that we're adding on. And then we're going from there.
Any other?
So our decision is contingent on that property. Would that
Correct.
be
Right,
written as a
right.
contingent?
So we can approve a side contingent on the planning board accepting the property being closed.
Yeah, and the draft resolution I passed out
Yeah.
has that
That
language
has
in it.
it in there.
All right,
Mike's got something.
Mike, any?
Yeah, the only variance I guess we're really looking for tonight is the side yard.
Yep.
Right.
right.
As of right now, it doesn't meet the rear yard setback. So I can't issue a permit until they do the subdivision.
Yep.
Okay.
They do that, and they get a variance for the side, but
So we just need a variance for the side
For
yard.
the
at
side
this
yard,
point.
that's it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Any other comments or concerns from the gallery?
Okay.
I have one question.
Sure.
Does this also address this 7 in this corner? Is that counted as rear or side?
That doesn't.
That doesn't count at all
That doesn't
because
count.
because the structure is on the property. And if you measure sideways perpendicular to the property, it's more than 10 feet. So that dimension of 7'9" really isn't relevant to this discussion.
Okay. Okay, make sure it's addressed.
they're on an angle.
Yeah, it's on an angle. It's measuring from the back corner of the building to the corner of the lot, which
Because
is.
that would be neither side nor rear.
Right.
I
Measuring.
like that. Just wanna make sure when it comes, it's all.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm good.
Everybody's good? All right, discussion, concerns?
I'll go through the 5 criteria.
Okay.
Quickly while the board's considering other things. Would the variance result in an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or nearby properties?
No.
Can the applicant achieve the benefit by some method other than an area variance?
No,
Is the area variance request substantial?
I would say no, since it's non-conforming and it's already at those limits. No,
Okay. Does the board see any adverse effect on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood if the variance were to be granted?
No.
And was the alleged difficulty self-created?
Yes.
yes.
Yep.
So a motion to accept the,
Just
Seeker.
to close the public hearing. Sorry.
He, you did not. You
Close
need-
the public.
I didn't this time, so a motion to close public hearing.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
For seeker purposes, this application would also be considered type 2 since it's a request for an area variance, so no further environmental reviews required of the board. And the resolution before the board that I offered as a draft, once again identifies the property owner. The request for a variance to allow for a 4.9 foot side yard setback on the north property line. It notes that the public hearing was conducted, that a notice of the public hearing had been filed. Step 2 under seeker. It also notes that the planning board previously provided a positive recommendation for the request for the variance. And page 3 of the draft resolution indicates the board has gone through the process of considering the criteria, and determined that the benefit to the applicant either outweighs or does not outweigh the benefit to the public. And as I noted previously, there's language in the draft resolution that says, if granted, it's subject to planning board approval of applicant subdivision application to enlarge the rear yard of the property to eliminate the need for a rear yard setback.
Motion to accept that resolution. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous.
Yep.
Thank you. Appreciate the board's time.
No problem. Thank you.
Back.
Thank you.
We
We don't need that.
We don't need all that.
Sure.
And I'm sure your builders will love having
Oh,
extra
yeah.
copies.
Or Dan, do you want me to save for the next meeting? I think
You want to do that? Sure.
it's something you're gonna be using the same
No.
information you might as well.
No, they're just gonna take up space like,
So,
All right, so with that said, any concerns about the last meeting minutes from August? I didn't see anything that needed to be changed there, so. Here, so. You okay?
to me.
They make sense to you then?
Yep.
You can still vote on them.
All right, so
accept the meetings in the last minutes.
I'll
Last
second it.
all in favor? Aye. Yeah. All right, so any other new business that we need to know about? With no new business, then